Hey guys, just waiting for journalistic DJ and we're gonna do a little interview.
Ah, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah,
What's up, man?
yeah, I'm good, you know. Interesting times we live in, so we try to keep the mind going and keep on being creative when we can, you know.
Yeah, no, you have to be creative, man. There's no other way, brother. I know KG couldn't join because of load shedding from his side, but yeah,
Yeah,
man, it's
as
crazy.
life.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
I don't even know when we will have load shedding here by us. So
Mm.
if you maybe that's why my screen was dark earlier.
Yeah, but it's cool. It's not a long conversation, just 30 minutes or so. You know, um, it's just a conversation about you guys, what you've been up to and all that. It's just a catch up, basically.
Yeah, it's
Um,
been a while.
yeah, I met you 2016 or 15. I don't
To
remember the.
2015, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and you guys just won a competition, if I'm not mistaken, or you were entering. I don't remember what was happening then.
Yeah, we had won the Jack Daniels Jack Scouts competition. It was
Mm.
this local talent competition for original music. So,
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
we won that back then, but nowadays we try to move away from that label because it seems like everyone who wins the competition ends up not having a career afterwards.
That's funny, but that didn't happen to you guys though, because I mean, you guys after that competition, you still carried on pushing, and you came out the competition stronger, even though probably the competition didn't do for you guys what you expected, but still, man, you guys carried on.
Yeah, you know, you have big dreams when you're young like that. So you win something and you get stars in your eyes, and you expect the record label to do everything for you, and that's your first mistake. Is if whatever happens to you in this life, you gotta keep on hustling. Uh, you know, like nobody's on your side. As soon as
Mm.
you let go a little bit, things go squiff. You know.
So tell me about that, man. Like, as far as you guys go, are you guys signed to a record label at the moment? How are you pushing your music?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. We are at this stage working independently, but we do have we co-own a new record label that we started called Ubizo Cafe. Ubizo Cafe, and
Mm-hmm.
that enables us to release our own music and release some of the other talented local guys and that sort of thing. So that was a good experience for us to realize that the best way to do things is to take it into your own hands, take the power back. And there are a lot
Yeah.
of local guys who are now doing that because you know the internet has changed life. We don't um, we don't have to be dependent on anyone anymore.
Mm, mm. And like even back in the day when you guys were pushing, you were ahead of your time in a sense that the way that you perform, is different. You guys always bring some sort of a life element to your sets. You know what I mean? So uh, let's talk about your sound. Because sound has changed a lot in South Africa. Like dance music is very, there's a lot of subgenres. It's very
Mm.
colorful. But you guys, you have a very unique sound. Can you just explain your sound to those who may not know?
Yeah, you know, just saying it ahead of your time, it's something that we also always try to do is think ahead. I remember we were live streaming in 2018. We were live streaming gigs. In 2017, actually, we were live streaming our gigs on our European tour.
Mm,
But back then, the live streaming equipment was different than now. So the quality wasn't as great and so on. But you've got to try and think of what the next thing is in this industry.
mm,
So from the start of Stones and Bones, we thought that it's going to happen. DJing is becoming very popular. But after a while, people get tired of DJs just doing the same thing over and over. You can only gooi on effects and that sort of thing so many times, and people get tired of it. While if you bring a live performance element into the equation, you bring that human element, which is important, because people cannot, nothing's perfect anymore. People can connect to that soul that brings in. So we brought some live instruments in, and then we started doing our own vocals as well on the sets. So that's a pretty interesting concept. And now we're working on building songs from point zero to the complete song live, you know, which is something that's also come up a lot, and you need certain software and equipment, but you can quite easily do that if you put your mind to it.
Okay, cool. Look, that's very dope. And I know that you guys have live stream. You know, you equipped your studio with some sort of live stream element, so you guys can live stream from your studio.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the Corona thing coming? How did you guys know?
No, like I said, our main thing was when we went touring in Europe in the last 2 years, we saw these amazing places, and often our gigs are in beach bars, so they're literally like on the beach, and we wanted to be able to live stream that if we want, you know, show the people back home what we're doing. So back then we started getting the equipment ready. So from then we've had high quality webcams, and we have a converter that you can plug straight into your phone, which allows you to live stream right out from your DJ sound card or decks straight into your phone. Perfect sound quality, perfect video quality if you have a good phone. So we can go live simultaneously on Instagram and Facebook and whatever else one time.
I know that's amazing, man. You guys are obviously, you know, you're well prepared for COVID-19 with your technology. But
yeah, but it's sad, you know, because we would be playing some gigs in summer right now on the opposite side of the world, and now we can't. So it's sad in that sense. It's also nice for us because we get to spend more time making some good quality music.
And you know, like I was gonna ask you now about your European tour. You guys a couple of years ago dropped a very, very powerful song, and correct me if I'm wrong. You know, the song with Toshi, Amahloni. That song really opened up a lot of doors for you guys. Can you just tell me, like, you know, in your experience, what that song did for you guys, the Stones and Bones band?
Sure. Yeah, no, we never saw it coming. We knew it was a good song when we made it, and we got a good reception locally. But it was a remix by Manu, which is just he's a French producer and DJ, and a really stand-up guy. He made a remix, and it just blew up. And it blew up we had many people helping us along the way. Nati Black Coffee played it a lot in his sets. As well as all the South Africans big on the scene at that stage. So we just received a lot of love, and then that song ended up really breaking through, especially in Europe, but also here at home, which was really amazing. So it got a lot of love on all the major radio stations, and it ended up changing our life. I think the biggest thing that it did for us is we now have a song that's a classic, and you work your whole life to just try and get one song like that, and you might never get it. And that happened. So that's already just the fulfillment you get out of that is really amazing. And then the bonus was that Toshi also got a lot of love from a lot of local producers after that, and international guys, and she's worked with people all over the place. And we got to go and play in the overseas, which was a whole other thing on it. We never dreamt of doing that when we were just two kids, you know, hanging out making music.
Look, and you guys inspire obviously a lot of up and coming guys. and, you know, it's people look up to DJs that travel Europe. You know, they look at guys that, like,
Mm.
especially Black Coffee. You know, they be like, "Yo, I
Mm.
wanna play in Europe. You know, I wanna tour. You know, I wanna chase some." Like now, Black Coffee and Euphonic, they're out there playing in France. You
Yeah.
know, so like, what was your experience like playing for like a different market out of Africa? You know.
Yeah, you know, it's a good question, that one, because the first thing is I mean, we did everything ourselves. We had some friends there, producers and stuff, but we had to do the bookings ourselves and travel arrangements and visas, and so that in itself is a whole story. People don't know that you can't just get on a plane and go to let's say Europe or wherever else. You know, you need a visa. And you need a visa for the time that you're there, and you need accommodation, and you need transport, and so we just had to figure all of that stuff out. And we also, you know, here locally you'll get booked, and they'll say, like, okay, you know, there's 20 DJs on the lineup for tonight, so we give you 20 minutes or 30 minutes, and that's you. So we mix incredibly quickly here. You know, you're trying to play as many of your greatest hits as you can in 20 minutes. And then you get booked for, let's say, to play somewhere else, like, you know, Dubai or Uganda or Greece or France, and they want you to play for the whole night. So now suddenly you're used to, if I can use a sexual analogy, you're used to going straight for the sex and not doing any foreplay. So now
Yeah.
you have to really get into that, and you have to learn how to engage with the crowd for that long and keep them entertained and take them on a musical journey. So that in itself is absolutely crazy, and it's such a learning experience. You learn to read people on a different wave of energy. And then you also learn other things. You know, you learn that how hard these guys work who make these dreams come true. And you think you've made it when you go overseas, and you get there and you realize that the hustle starts from zero again. So that's a very humbling experience also.
Oh, okay, cool, man. And now, obviously, you know, because of COVID, everybody's indoors. But if like this pandemic wasn't happening right now, where would you go? What are your plans for the year? Where would you be right now?
Oh yeah, no, we'd definitely be in Greece. Let me see we would still be on the beach at this time. The sets normally start at around 7, 8, or around 12, depending on if you're playing a club or a beach bar. But we normally start off in France when we go. We stop there for a show or two, and then we go over to Greece. So that's probably where we would have been. But, you know, we can't dwell on the would have.
Yeah.
And what we can do is do what we love doing in the first place, which is being creative and you know, putting some new ideas and redefining the sound. You know?
Yeah. Talking about new ideas, obviously you guys, you know, we all been indoors, you know. So obviously as creatives, you guys are probably making music and projects, working on projects. So what are you guys currently working on?
Yeah, thanks for that question. It's we've been doing an EP. We've got a 5-track EP that's gonna drop next month. It's called In the Name of Love. So it's you can imagine what it's about. This is one of the favorite things of Stones and Bones is love and the appreciation of that. So and then we're working to put out and finally put out an album. We feel like we're ready after 10 years of work. So you know, we can basically, our first album can be a greatest hits album, which is nice. So we're looking at revisiting songs from 2010 when we started and taking the best ones, including Amahloni and so on, doing some reworks of them, putting them together into an album. And with that, then as soon as the borders open and the airports open, we will be connecting with South Africa again. So you know, we've focused a lot on spreading our music internationally, but we miss being home and we miss getting love from home. So we've reconnected with that, which is very special to us. So hopefully, if things go well, we can just travel around South Africa and play a bit again.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, someone has a comment there. A question.
Yeah, I see.
When can I get a feature with you for the album? So how do you guys work with features if someone wants to work with you?
Yeah, no, that's something we're very proud of. Is we are always open for people to work with us, but you got to send me something that I read all of the emails that we get, and I listen to everything that people send us, and I give feedback if they ask. But you got to give us something that we can't do ourselves. If you're sending me something and you're doing something that I can do, then what value are we adding for each other? You know. So you send me something, sure, send me an idea, whatever you're working on. But if it's something that if it's something that I could have made yesterday or this morning, then there's no point for us to work together. But if you're bringing something unique and authentic, then let's work. Let's make some magic. That's what music is about, isn't it?
Yeah, and Gus Brown is just saying big ups. You guys have been
consistent. Yeah, thank God.
And I agree, man. You guys have been consistent. So that guy obviously is asking from a producer point of view. What's your process or when collaborating with vocalists? How do you choose vocalists?
Yeah, so for the producers and vocalists who want to contact us, you can email us info@stonesbonesband.com. But yeah, it depends. It depends where the vocalist is located and so on. But we normally will kind of find out what their vibe is, what inspired them in the first place, what did they grow up listening to naturally, and then we try and harness that as best we can. And we find with vocalists that the best thing is to not necessarily send them an afro techno beat, because you want to capture their soul and their emotion and their heart. So very often it's much better to send them something that evokes a sort of soul or melody or feeling, which often can be just acoustic guitars or pianos or something like that. And then often give them a concept. This is the concept that I had in mind when I made this music. This is what it made me feel. So this is what I'm giving to you. Bring your take on this. So that's important. It's important to, if you can, be in studio with them so that you guys can feel each other's energy and talk about what the song is about. But you can't always do that. So sometimes we will just correspond electronically, and we will send back and forth. But yeah, that's pretty much the process. So I would always advise, be in the studio with the guys, have a concept, because what music is about is relatability. If I'm making something, you can't relate to what I'm making, then we're missing each other. But if you can capture a feeling or an emotion together, you're gonna win, my man. That's what we did with Amahloni. It was just an acoustic guitar and vocal.
Okay.
So that's
I know. Thanks for that answer, man. Intro to music theory. What an interesting name. Which genre have you not produced in but you want to? Which genre do you want to try out that you haven't done yet?
Well, I think house music moves across many genres, but we are definitely moving towards some of the more interesting modern takes on older soulful songs. So that brings a bit of jazz into the equation, definitely, and soulful music, R&B. So that's what it sort of comes down to. And then I would love to, at one stage, look at some some techno tracks.
Techno.
And also, you know what we also really like is this slow down, down tempo kind of stuff. They call that like boho house. I don't really know. So yeah, there's many genres, but you got to make what you feel, man. So it depends who we're listening to at that stage musically.
Lunatics wants to know. Yeah, sorry to cut you. Yeah, you're saying?
No. I think we were at the same question.
Oh yes, I'm a piano vocalist. Would you work with Amapiano?
I think what does that mean? I'm a piano vocalist. I mean, you're already restricting yourself if you say that. You're a vocalist, right? If you sing, you have a vibe, you have a message. So yeah, for sure, man, for sure. I don't know if I see us making Amapiano beats in the future, because we're gonna try and do something that we're not strong at. So you can't, if you're gonna go play away games the whole time, you're gonna lose. You got to play on your home turf. You know? So by all means, if you're bringing that, please, man, we're looking for people with something to say. Then we can work.
Yeah, and you know, you guys are very good with you know, your sound. And looking at the current trends, like it seems like, you know, even Manu, when he remixed your song, it has an Afrotech. Is that Afrotech? That's Afrotech, ne? And it looks like the international market is you know, really loving Afrotech. So, you know, what do you think? Do you think Afrotech will be big in SA as well?
No.
Why?
I think it will get a bit bigger. But the thing is, we are pioneers here in SA. With house music is pop music here. House music is not pop music in a lot of the other countries. So what people look at us, and they can never keep up with what's happening in SA, because it changes. You look at 2 years' time, and it can change. I mean, remember the days when it was like soulful house music. And then we made it our own, and this Afro thing started coming with, you know, with Uru and all those guys coming into the scene. And then it was Gom came into the picture, and now we're at Mapiano, and you can already see the Mapiano evolving into, you know, I mean, it even evolved into Mapiano. It was Bacardi before that. So. You can't expect Afrotech. Yes, it will be consistent, but the house music here is on another level. It's going to evolve again, and you can see Amapiano is becoming more soulful, more slow down, evolving into a kind of an Afro beats kind of a thing. So there's a reason why Afrotech works in Europe, because it's much more familiar sound. The big sound in Europe is techno. So Afrotech just took Afrotech and brought it a little bit more into accessibility, you know, for these guys. So that's why it's not gonna pop here, if you ask me. But you know, I've been proven wrong about these things many times.
Yeah, man. Like, you know, you can never tell, but what you say makes sense. It makes a lot of sense, you know, because Afrotech also, a lot of people in South Africa, they like slowed down type of vibes. You know, Afrotech sometimes can be a bit up tempo. And if you're not in that space, you might not appreciate it. But I like what you guys are doing with the music. You know, I think local producers are making, you know, Afrotech very soulful, and people really enjoy that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yo, man,
you know, in Africa,
minutes already. So, yeah.
We have so much to say here, and we have so much pain and emotion, and whatever we feel here, we feel deeply. So that is what we should be putting into the music. So, and you get guys who make Afrotech. Some of the best ones are from South Africa, but it's because if you go to their hood and you hang out with them, that's some dark shit going on there, man. So you understand what I'm saying? They make the music that to them, and when most of the people in South Africa love to dance, and they like to. We like to sing along and we like to dance. And so that's the kind of music that is gonna, be big for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, man. Look, bro, thank you so much for your time, man. Is there anything that I missed that you might want to say that you guys are doing? Oh, yeah, before you answer that question, you guys will be doing a live stream on my platform on the 25th of July. So, yeah, guys, look out for that, a live stream event. But, we'll give you guys more information closer to the time. But, yeah, man. Oh, yeah, before you answer your question, actually, just one more question from Garth. He wants to know what does he think is the formula to making a hit for radio or the streets? What's the formula for making a hit? Very good question, guy.
Yeah. I've changed my mind on this a lot of times, but and it comes back to because I've tried many different things. But what I've found, let me tell you from experience, our songs that have done the best have often been the ones that we didn't necessarily expect that, and it might have been a remix by someone, but what was definitely there was authenticity. So, and it was some kind of relatable. Yeah. But you lose me there.
I think I lost you.
Okay. Yeah. So for a hit song, I think if we analyze all the hits, right, it's always something that a certain part of our community can relate to 100%. So if you are from the streets, if you're from the city, talk about life, that hustle. If you're from the hood, talk about the people, what's going on in people's lives there. Talk about those concepts. If you're in a different life phase, talk about that. So that's the thing, is you need to find that thing that people relate to. Then you've got a hit.
Okay. All right, cool. Great answer. And then, yeah, man, is there anything else that I missed?
No, we're very excited to do the live stream with you, and that's it. That'll be next week, and we'll play some of our new stuff.
Can't wait, man. Can't wait, guys. TheJournalistDJ.com, Stones and Bones, they're gonna perform a very special live stream for us, and drop some exclusives. Drop some exclusives, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Questions keep coming in, and I don't want to cut you off.
I love it.
How did Stones and Bones meet? Well, I didn't ask that question because you guys have been telling the story for a long time. But yeah. Feel free to ask the question.
No, we met at school. Actually, we were doing music, and there was this guy in the corner of the class. I used to make this stupidest jokes, these really silly jokes. And there was this one guy in the corner of the class who always laughed. Then I thought, if this guy gets my joke, he must be some kind of a genius. And so I asked him to come and bride my house, and then I went to bride his house, and then we were like, damn, we come from totally different places. This is, one guy's from the hood, and one's from the city, and one's Afrikaans, and one's Sepedi, and we were like, we gotta learn how to bring all of this stuff together. So that's how I wanted to say that I saved someone from being swallowed by a crocodile, and then we started Stones and Bones, but that's a lie.
It's a regular meeting class. Have Brian, you're like, oh, I like this dude, and then let's work together. That's basically how you guys work.
Yeah, if you can laugh together, you can work together.
Yeah, Lunatics keeps asking this question about, do you look forward to working with dancers? I'm not sure what he means.
It depends what kind of dances he's talking about, but we definitely, anyone who wants to collab and has got a good idea, an interesting idea, we can definitely make that happen. It's about sharing. So sure, maybe they can teach us some moves. It's about time.
Yeah. And Lunatics, maybe tag Stones and Bones in a dance video, or send them a video.
Yeah, hit us up, like us. We'll send over some music. You can do a routine. Be lekker.
Yeah. All right. I know. Cool, man. Thank you so much for your time. Please publish
thanks
this
for
on
having
your
me.
wall, man.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, save the video on your wall, please. Don't forget.
Okay, let me just do that when we're done.
Okay. For everybody
Okay.
that watched the interview, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thanks, guys.
Thank you for watching and thank you for engaging. So yeah, man, this is not the end. On the 25th of July, Stones and Bones will be performing a live set on the journalistdj.com platform and across all social media pages. But we'll share that information with you closer to the time. So yeah, man. Yeah, thank you so much. Another comment. I met these guys personally, and yeah, their energy is awesome. Personality is beautiful. I agree. You guys are such dope guys, man. You know, you guys are such dope guys.
Yeah, we try. We try.
Yeah, and keep being dope, even though you guys are traveling the world. You know, you are global superstars now. Keep
I
being
wouldn't say
humble.
that.
No, you guys
But
are,
thank
man.
you for having us, and thank you for the flattering words.
All right, all right. Sharp, sharp.
Okay, brother. Have a good night.